Why, hello everyone. Welcome to Criminal Investigation for the summer of 2021. This is the online version of the course, and this is the introductory video where I'm going to talk all about the way the course is set up and so forth. One thing I'm going to emphasize, and I'm going to say several times, this is a 16-week course being taught in 5 weeks, so you just can't afford to get behind. You actually need to make sure you stay up and keep up, or it will become unattainable. So just kind of work with that. So what we will do is we'll kind of go over everything in getting into Blackboard. Let me go ahead and get out of the way. I'm going to assume that you know how to find the course. If you don't, you're watching this video, you got it through an email link. Just send me an email and I'll try to show you how to get into Blackboard. Now, when you actually open the course in the summer of 2021, you will come up to this dashboard screen. This is where you'll find announcements. And there are no announcements in here yet because it's the class hadn't started as I'm taping this. But here you'll see announcements like I'll make an announcement about your weekly updates when they come out each week. Each week I'll have a short video called the weekly update that should be less than 10 minutes. The one for week 1 just says to watch this video basically, so it was under 2 minutes. And I'm not going to send that out as an announcement. I'll actually put a link to this video in its place. So those are the main things you'll see here. In this other section called To Do, and I think you might be able to customize this some way, so your personal one might be look a little bit different. You can't go by the due dates here because of the way I set this course up so that you can work ahead. I can't have the Blackboard due dates in there, so they're not there. It just doesn't work out when people actually get behind and they can't catch up. So your due dates are going to be set in your schedule, so you'll have to go by them, and also we'll talk about them each week. So the next section, and you're going to navigate all through this side of the board, the left-hand side. We've got course material. This is all the stuff that is more about this course. Communication methods, the discussion boards you'll use. There's a link to MyGrade. Virtual meeting room, which we may use for moot court. If things go well, I'll try to do moot court. I'm not making any promises, but we will try to have it. There's a link to email, so you can email other students, and then some support tools that are also here. But the meat and potatoes for this course are going to be right here, starting with Start Here, weekly content, which will get you to each video for the week and to your quizzes that you have to take. I've got a tab for the exams. There are 4 exams this semester. And then I've got a tab to the mock crime scene. You will do a mock crime scene, whether you come to campus to do it or you have to do the alternative mock crime scene that you set up at your own home. Either way, you'll film it, you'll write a report on it, and you'll testify in the mock moot court about the mock crime scene. Again, as long as we can get the moot court in, can't always. It just kind of depends on the availability of my defense attorney and what's going on at the time. When we do it, we'll do it as a virtual meeting room. So first we're going to start with the Start Here page, and this is where you will find your syllabus. I'm going to open that up in a second, and you'll look through there and you'll get to see everything you wanted to know about what's expected of you in the course. We have the course schedule, and you'll notice it's a 5-week schedule. We're looking at approximately 3 chapters per week. And after the first week, you'll have an exam every week. We've also showed the dates that we're going to do the mock crime scene, which will be due, will come to campus on July 15th, either in the morning or the afternoon, or you'll do it on your own sometime that week. And at the end of that week, or in the week starts on Wednesday and goes through the following Tuesday, by the end of that week, you'll have to turn in your report, your diagram, and your photographs. And And then each week you're going to have a discussion. Starting the first week, you'll have a discussion, introduce yourself, and the following week's discussions 1 through 4 will be exam reviews for the exams. You'll have to do a post and 3 follow-up posts. So it's kind of important that you get someone to get yours in time so others can do the follow-up. And we'll talk about those again in a moment. Okay, so we're going to spend the next few minutes going over the syllabus, and we're going to talk about the things that are unique to this course. Let me kind of open this up so you can see it a little better, and put my glasses on so I can see it a little better. Again, the big note at the top, this is not a self-paced course. You will be allowed to work ahead, but you must meet the course deadline. So anything that's due week 1 must be completed by Tuesday night of week 1, or you have possible sanctions of losing letter grades on your final grade. So just kind of keep that in mind. All the major exams are going to be given using HonorLock, which means you have to use the Chrome browser and have the extension. You have to have a working webcam and microphone. You'll need your student ID or another form of ID, your driver's license if you don't have your student ID, and a good stable internet connection. You cannot take these exams using a mobile device such as a cell phone or tablet because they're not compatible with HonorLock. It is compatible with any program that can run a full version of Chrome, which is including PCs, your iPad, your Mac computers, your Chromebook computers, or any of those. And communication, you'll communicate with me through email. If you have questions, we can set up a virtual meeting through Microsoft Teams or through the Ultra Collaborate, which is built into Blackboard, where we can share files and go over things if you need to. But send me an email first and we'll talk about them. Course description. It's a 3-hour lecture course which provides a study of American crime problems in a historical perspective. And that doesn't sound like the right one. I might have to check on that. I think that looks like the criminology one, which isn't, I may have cut and pasted from the wrong place, but we'll get that fixed. The student learning outcomes. Upon successful completion of the course, student will be able to define goals and objectives of criminal investigation, demonstrate ability to conduct proper crime scene investigation, illustrate the use of forensic science for various statutory offenses, and then organize the criminal case, including field notes, reports, crime scene activities, and mandatory documentation of statutory warnings. There are no prerequisites or co-requisites. The book is available through the bookstore or online. And here's the course outline, which we just went over. If changes take place, they'll be noted in Blackboard. They will not be updated on the syllabus. As I mentioned earlier, you'll have 4 exams, 3 regular exams, and the final. The regular exams will be 50 questions. The final will be 80 questions. And you'll have a minute per question for each exam. They're open book exams, and you can use your notes. As part of the discussion, you'll be able to see other students' notes. You can incorporate their answers into your answers. You don't want to open a copy of theirs, but you can take, if their answer is different than yours, don't erase yours out. Yours might be right, but add it to yours so that when you're looking things up, maybe they were looking at it the right way and you were looking at a different looking at the term from a different avenue. So you can use your textbook. If you've got a digital copy of the textbook or digital copy of your notes, those are fine. You want to open them up before the test, but you don't want to go to any other web page. Using web searches, study sheets from other sources, practice exams, Quizlets, or anything like that during the exam is considered cheating. And if you're caught cheating, you will fail the class. As part of HonorLock, they alert me whenever you look at a different screen and let me go and see, hey, is that his textbook or is that his own notes? And if it's not, then I actually the dishonor of failing a student out 2 semesters ago because she was using Quizlets during the exam. That's why it's now highlighted in yellow. If you were caught cheating, you will fail the class. Yes, I could say that one more time. If you're caught cheating, you will fail the class. There will be weekly quizzes covering each chapter. So typically you'll have 3 quizzes a week. You will have to pass those quizzes. You'll have to make a 70 to move to the next chapter. So if you make a 60 on the quiz, you have to retake it. And you can retake them as many times as you want. I encourage you to retake them until you make 100. The way that it's set up is you get the highest score. So if you make a 90 on it, retake it and only make a 70, you still have the 90. So I encourage you to retake them until you get the 100. Now, as far as work, other work that you're going to be doing besides the quizzes, the discussions, you're going to do the mock crime scene, which includes a report. It includes writing the crime scene report, taking pictures and submitting them in a PowerPoint presentation, and finally submitting a diagram of the crime scene. So you'll do all 3 of those. And we were going to try to do moot court. If we're unable to, obviously you have to do it to pass if we don't have it. But if we do have it, you'll need to participate. If you can't participate at the time when we do it, then we'll have to make alternative measures. I don't have the alternate research paper because I started doing last semester that I taught this course a mock crime scene that allows you to create it yourself at your home. You don't get to fingerprint things, but you get to diagram the scene, photograph it, and collect at least one piece of evidence for your report. So you'll have to participate in the mock crime scene to pass, and if we have the moot court, you'll have to participate in that. If your report's late, you get 10 points deducted from the grade. If it is late, at the end of the next week, you get another 10 points. And then I think you run out of the semester and you'll fail because you didn't submit it. So that's kind of at that point. Participation discussion. Students are expected to participate in class by watching the video presentations of the course material, completing discussion assignments, and completing weekly quizzes. Failure to watch the chapter videos, complete discussion, and quizzes by the assigned deadline will be considered a class absence. When we talk about academic honesty and plagiarism, it's kind of hard to plagiarize the report, but cheating on the exam will get you, you'll fail the course. As far as the grading summary, the major exams are worth 15% each, the finals 20%. Your crime scene report, the photographs and the diagram are worth 10%, and the quizzes are worth 15%. The participation and discussion is worth 10%. And again, the quiz and discussion, there will be grading on that. I'll kind of go over that when we get to it in a minute. Class attendance. Part of our accreditation, we have to take attendance and you have to come to class. If you never show up for class after the first week, you'll be automatically dropped. So you definitely need to log in and do something, take the introductory quiz during the first week. And that introductory quiz is going to be due the first week. The syllabus is a big part of that. So kind of keep an eye on it. You're going to have to make at least a 100 on it to continue the course. So, as far as this particular course, with a few exceptions, online students do not have any set time to attend. This doesn't mean that your participation is not important. Your participation will be gauged by meeting the required course deadlines. Typically, there are assignments that are due, you'll have several assignments due during the week. It includes quizzes, discussions, in this case, the mock crime scene report, and exams. Students' recording will be recorded whatever day of the week they decide. Now they keep changing that, but one day of the week we will be recording your attendance, and it will be based upon you getting all your work in time. If you don't do any work during the week, you're marked absent. If you get some of the work but not all of the work in, you're going to be marked late. Now, 2 lates would be equal to 1 absence, and if you're marked more than the equivalent of 1 absent during the semester, you lose a final a final semester grade for each one. So if you go 3 weeks and you turn in something late, that's going to be a 1.5 absences. And if you had an A average in the class, you get a B. If you have a B average in the class, you get a C. If you have a C average in the class, well, we don't want to talk about it. But that's the way it's set up. So you got to get things in on time. It's only 5 weeks. If you get behind, you're not going to pass the class. Keep in mind, even if something's late, you still have to submit it in order to go to the next chapter. You have to submit everything in order to pass this class. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then as far as the internet access, you got to have a decent internet connection. It's real important during the exams. You can kind of read all this. These are all standard material. HonorLock, there's a video for you to watch on HonorLock. It seems to work a lot better than the Respondus Lockdown browser we used in the past, but there are still some hiccups. So be sure that you watch that video and you kind of learn more about it. The rest of this material is standard material. Please read it. You are responsible for it. But again, it's the same thing for each course here at the college. The next section I'm going to look at is going to be the exam tab. You're not going to see a whole lot here. This is where you'll find a link to the video on HonorLock. And it's a 12-minute video. You're going to want to watch that if you've never used HonorLock before. And then we've got exam reviews. Well, it's exam 2 didn't show up, but I'll make sure it's there. It's just for some reason not visible. I'll make sure it is. Those exam reviews are important because that's part of our discussion. We'll look at them a little bit more in depth when we get into the weekly reviews. Next section we're going to look at is the mock crime scene section, and here is where you'll find the template that you want to save to write your report. You must use this template. Don't write it on your own. Use this template and follow it. We'll have a video that talks a little bit more about that. You've got the locations to submit your crime scene report, your crime scene diagram, which you can either take a photograph of or scan in, and also your crime scene photos. Now, your crime scene photos are a little different. You need to make a PowerPoint presentation with each photo on a single page, and then you look in the label each photograph in the speaker notes. I'll probably, before we submit these, I think the 3rd week, when they're due at the end of the 3rd week, I will put together a quick video showing you how to actually create this PowerPoint presentation. And if you've got too many photos so that it doesn't upload in Blackboard, I've got another link where you can upload it. And then in the event that you do lift fingerprints and you're actually come to the scene, I've got the fingerprints of the suspect that you can compare it to. Now, we're going to be doing this on the 15th, July 15th, at either from 9 a.m. till noon or 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. One of those 2 slots, and we shouldn't be the full 3 hours. It'd probably be out of here in 2 hours on one of those days. One of those 2 time slots. Just sign up so I know who all is coming. I think I've got 17 slots. I don't have that many students in the class, so everybody will be able to be in one of those. Again, if you are unable because of work or some other reasons not to show up that day, you need to get with me and I will go over the alternate crime scene where you'll create your own crime scene at home. The only thing you'll need is a knife. It can be a kitchen knife. You'll need a porch, at least 1 measuring tape, 2 preferred, and then you'll need something to take pictures with. Your phone will work, and then you'll go from there. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the course, the weekly content. And this is set up by each week. The first week starts on Wednesday, July 7th, which, as I'm filming this, is tomorrow. And it goes through Tuesday, July 17th. And you can look. What you'll have to do this week, since I don't have a weekly update video, I'll go ahead and tell you what's due. First, we've got this video that you're watching. You'll need to watch it. And you'll also need to take the introductory quiz, which you have to make a 100 on. You will be able to take it as many times as you need. Now, the introductory quiz will be given using the HonorLock, and we do this so that you can get practice using HonorLock. The next thing you'll need to do is introduce yourself in a discussion board. very simple thing to do. You have to make a post before you can read anybody else's post and go from there. And then we've got chapters 1, 2, and 3. Chapter 1 on criminal investigation and overview. Chapter 2 on documenting the crime scene. And chapter 3 on writing effective reports. So those would be the 3 chapters due this week. I'll go ahead in here and show you where to find things. Again, there's my really short weekly update. A week at a glance talks about what you're doing. This is where the 2019 video, it will be replaced with the video that I'm doing now. More information on HonorLock. It's the same video as what you saw in the exam tab, but since you have to do this quiz in HonorLock, I put it here yourself, so you can watch it, then take your quiz, make a 100 on it, and then do the introduce yourself, and on that you will then move on. Now, you'll notice that's, well, and then I've got a video on forwarding email. You'll notice chapter 1 is not available to you. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and then make a 100 on that quiz by going to the gradebook and putting it in there, and you can see what would be visible once you make that 100. Okay, while I was paused, I miraculously made a 100 on the introductory quiz and also on the introduce yourself, and now chapter 1 is visible. Everything's in this folder. If I click on the chapter 1 folder, you'll see the chapter 1 video and then the quiz. Now you need to make at least a 70 on this quiz before chapter 2's folder will show up. So you will then move on to chapter 2. And again before chapter 3. Now when you get to the chapter after the exam, in that case, you have to take the exam. You don't have to score any score on the exam, but you have to take the exam before the next chapter is visible. It's just an attempt. You can fail the exam. Hopefully you won't, but it will be visible for you once you take the exam. So that kind of shows you how that works. Let me go ahead back to the weekly content, and we'll talk a little bit about discussions. Before you take the exam, you'll have to complete all the chapters that are going to be covered by that exam and participate in the discussion. And we'll get to the discussion section here. And here's how the discussion works. You'll have to post an original post each week, which will be the exam discussion. You want to print this out or save it to your computer so that you can make notes on it as you're watching the videos and you're reading the chapter in the book. And you can open it up. I think it's probably going to open in Google Docs on this computer. And then you just fill in the answer to each of these, save it, and then you will select all and then copy it, and then you would paste it into the discussion. So when we go into the discussion, when you get to the discussion, you're not going to see anything until you create a thread yourself, because you have to post first. And I'm going to delete this one out, but I'll put my answers, and then you want to paste it in by once you get it, hit your copy your information to the clipboard. Hit Control V on a PC. I'm not sure what you're going to hit on a Mac, but whatever it is to paste. And then you will click on Keep Formatting when this screen comes up, and then it will paste it into your answer, and then you would hit Submit. And I can hit Submit because I'll leave it out. Oh, the input was too large. Well, I guess I saved too much, but when you get it as a Word document, it will fit in there. So let me go back to the weekly content, week 2. Now, as far as the grading of this, 70% is doing the original post, and if you put at least 80% of the terms, you'll get credit. If you have less than 80%, you don't get credit, and you don't get credit for the exam. So you got to fill them in. They don't have to be right, but you have to do your best to get the answer. So look for something and put it in there. If you get 80% of them done, you get 80 points. If you get 90% or more done, you get 90 points. Or 90%, you get 90% of the 70 points. And then if you get all of them completed, you get the full points. So that's kind of there. Now the comments you have to do you have to do 3 of them, and it's broken down into 3 groups. You need to comment on other students' posts. It has to be a post that they didn't an answer that was not blank. So you look for their answers, you look for your answer that's different, and then you will post both their answer and your answer. And then the third thing you have to do is you've got to talk about the differences. Is theirs right and yours wrong? Is yours right and theirs wrong? Or both of them right? And that can be the case more often than not where both of them are right. If you do all 3 of these for 3 different posts, you'll get 100% of that 30% for the comments or the responses sections. And then again, the original post is going to be due, for just the week when the exam's due. You want to try to do your follow-ups before you take the exam, so try to do that as many as you can. Now, it's a possibility that there won't be enough of the other students. If I look around and there weren't enough other students' discussions post, then I would give you credit. But more than likely, you could look at 1 or 2 students and find at least 3 different answers that are different than yours, and you do them in separate posts for each answer. So that is about it. Again, I can't emphasize enough that this is a 16-week course being taught in 5 weeks. So you have to really work at it to get it done, and don't get behind. If you have any questions, shoot me an email and we'll set up a time to talk. I'll call you by phone. We'll set up a virtual meeting on the computer. The one thing I didn't go over, and I'll go back to it, is my office hours. Let me get out of the way and go back to the start here. My office hours are going to be, I'll be here on campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 a.m. to noon in my office in the N building, the Criminal Justice Building. And I will also be available on either Monday or Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Those are going to be virtual meetings where we would meet online. I can do virtual meetings when I'm in the office also. But you'll just have to email me. We'll set it up. We'll talk about, you need to let me know what you are kind of looking to do. Well, that's all I've got. Be sure to take that introductory quiz below and make at least 100 on it. If you have any questions at all, send me an email. And we'll kind of go from there. I'll talk to y'all later.